What is going on, guys? Thanks for checking out this video on my sports Gematria. In this video, I'm going to go over some basketball games for Saturday, April 1st, 2023. I'm going to show you highlights of each side, and it's going to be up to you to determine who you think will win based on the numbers. I encourage you to add additional information on top of this if needed for you to feel confident in your own pick. And if for some reason you're curious to know who I'm picking in these games, you'll have to join my Patreon. My picks are always in writing, underlined, and italicized. For more information on that, please read the pinned comment attached to this video below. I wish you guys the best luck on all your picks for these games for this day. Let's go ahead and get into the games. Going to be looking at the final four matchups for the men's basketball championship. We have the number 9 Florida Atlantic versus the number 5 San Diego State. And then we have another number 5 Miami versus the number 4 UConn. Let me get to the right date here. On this side of the screen is what I call my daily numbers, date numerology, Gregorian Hebrew calendar. And on this side of the screen is what I call my game numbers specific to the game. The way that I have it structured here is I have one team up top here, their name Gematria, their coach's record, their season record, their tournament record as a team, and any other notes that I want to add. In the middle is the all-time head-to-head record between the two teams. And then at the bottom is the other team, their season record, their tournament record as a team, coach's record, any other notes that I want to add, and their team name, Gematria. Let's go ahead and get right into the first game here. Starting off with the number 9 seed Florida Atlantic versus the number 5 seed San Diego State. Now, I always start with the team that's on the bottom. I'll go over some numbers for San Diego State to win this game, and then I'll go over some numbers for Florida Atlantic to win this game. So starting with the team on the bottom here, San Diego State. One of the reasons why I picked San Diego State to beat Creighton last weekend was because Creighton was the number 6 seed. And I knew if San Diego State were to win the game over the number 6 seed Creighton, they would go on to play the number 9 seed Florida Atlantic in the Final Four. The words San Diego State Aztecs sums to 69. They beat the number 6 seed Creighton. Now they're facing the number 9 seed Florida Atlantic, kind of like 69. And San Diego State could beat Florida Atlantic, and so I guess symbolically they would beat the number 6 seed, and then they would beat the number 9 seed just before entering the championship game, kind of like 69, and their name, San Diego State Aztecs, sums to 69. On top of that, San Diego State would get their 9th win in a row for the season, coming at the hands of beating the number 9 seed Florida Atlantic. Now, this is the men's basketball championship. It says it on every single ESPN game, men's basketball championship. This is specifically the Final Four. But if you actually write out men's basketball championship, I have it over here on my daily numbers side. Men's basketball championship, it sums to 435. And Florida Atlantic could become 35-4 for a season record with the loss. 354, 435. They're just anagrams of each other. And so Florida Atlantic could become the men's basketball championship numbers with the loss in the Final Four. San Diego State, they have yet to lose a game against Florida Atlantic. They could become 3-0 head-to-head against them. I didn't see a connection to the number 30 on this specific day, so I'm not totally sure. Well, I mean, I guess I could say that it does have 12 date numerology on the Gregorian. If you write out the number 12, it does sum to 30. And the words San Diego State Aztec sums to 300, which is just an extended number 30. That could be a reason why San Diego State becomes 3-0, like 30 head-to-head against Florida Atlantic. What else here? What else? Florida Atlantic would end their 11-game winning streak with a loss, as San Diego State gets their 11th tourney win as a team. San Diego State Aztecs sums to 111. And the words Final Four sums to 141. Today we'll have a date numerology of 28. 28 sums to 141. San Diego State could become 11-14 for a tourney record with the win, which has the same numbers as 141. And then they would sit on that 14 tourney loss heading into the championship game, which will take place on Monday, April the 3rd. 4/3 or 43 is the 14th prime number. It'll be a day with 14 date numerology. Could be a reason why San Diego State continues to sit on that 14 tourney losses with the win to head into the championship game. And one last thing here for San Diego State, they could become 32-6 for a season record with the win. 32-6, kind of like the number 326. 326, if you write it out, sums to 107. And it will be the 10th day of the 7th month for the Hebrew civil calendar, like 107 or 107. It's a day with 100 date numerology on it. Could be a reason why Florida Atlantic coach sits on 100 wins for his career with a loss. And that's kind of what I would put for San Diego State for right now, to go ahead and move on to the championship game. They could go into the championship with 32 wins. And the word championship, sums to 131, the 32nd prime number. So they can head into the championship game with 32 wins for the season. Championship sums to 131, the 32nd prime. If we move on to Florida Atlantic, if Florida Atlantic was going to win this game, some numbers that can help them out would be that it will be the 10th day of the first month on the Hebrew religious side of the calendar, like 101 or 101. And Florida Atlantic coach can get his 101st win for his career. And then they would head into the championship game. The championship game will be on Monday, April 3rd, written 4/3, like 43. If you write out the number 43, it sums to 59, and it also sums to 49. Well, if Florida Atlantic wins as the number 9 seed, the coach would be sitting on 59 losses for his career heading into the championship game. 43 sums to 59. But it also sums to 49. And the reason why I bring that up is if you look at the other game, Miami versus UConn, it's the number 4 seed versus the number 5 seed. So if Florida Atlantic does win this game and go to the championship game and their coach sits on 59 losses, they are the current number 9 seed. So it doesn't really matter who wins in the next game, whether it be the 5 seed Miami or the 4 seed UConn. There potentially could be a 5 versus 9 seed for the championship game, or a 4 versus 9 seed for the championship game on April the 3rd, written 4/3 or 43, which sums to 59 and 49. And then the coach for Florida Atlantic would be sitting on 59 losses heading into that game. So we could see a number 9 seed in the championship game because of that reason. 43 sums to 59, and it sums to 49. And it doesn't matter if the number 4 seed UConn wins or if the number 5 seed Miami wins. Potentially could see a 5 versus the 9 or a 4 versus the 9 if Florida Atlantic wins. Hopefully that makes sense. If we go back to Saturday's numbers here, Saturday will be the 91st day of the Gregorian year. Florida Atlantic can get their 36th win for the season to advance. 36. If you write it out, sums to 91. It'll also be a day with 12 date numerology on the Gregorian, and Florida Atlantic can get their 12th win in a row. It'll be a day with 28 date numerology on the Gregorian. 28 sums to 51. And Florida Atlantic could become 5-1, like 51, for a tournament record with a win. Florida Atlantic could become 1-2, like 12, head-to-head against San Diego State as they get their 12th win in a row on a day with 12 date numerology for the Gregorian. And San Diego State, they could become 31-7 for a season record with a loss. 317. 317 mathematically is the 66 prime number. 317, 66 prime. If you write out the number 66, it sums to 41. And the game is being played on April 1st, written 4/1 like 41. So those are some things that I would put towards this particular game, Florida Atlantic and San Diego State. Hopefully both sides kind of give you an idea of what's going on. Let's move on to the next game. Let's look at Miami versus UConn. Now, I'll start with the team on the bottom here. I'll go over some numbers for UConn, and then I'll go over some numbers for Miami.
Sorry to interrupt this video, you guys, but I need a huge favor from you. Can you go ahead and like this video and leave a comment below on who you think's going to win? It's going to help with the YouTube algorithm. It's going to help grow my channel. I really appreciate you guys being here. Let's go ahead and get back into the video.
So starting with UConn, if UConn was going to win this game, it is the 188th day of the Hebrew civil calendar. 188th day. UConn could become 18-8 all-time head-to-head against Miami with a win, like 188. It will be a day with 12 date numerology on the Gregorian. Miami can get their 12th tournament loss as a team. And for UConn, if we're looking ahead, the championship game will be played on a day with 30 and 50 date numerology for the Gregorian. Now, either one of these two teams can get their 30th win to head into the championship game. Miami can get their 30th win. UConn can get their 30th win. However, if UConn wins and advances to the championship game, they would get their 64th tournament win as a team, as they sit on 32 losses as a team. 64, if you write it out, sums to 50. And 32, if you write it out, sums to 50. So if UConn wins and they head into the championship game on a day with 30 and 50 date numerology, they would also have their 30th win for the season, and they would be 64-32 for a tournament record to go with. 64 sums to 50, 32 sums to 50. What else? What else? I think that might be. I mean, I didn't see a whole lot. This game is tough, actually. The Miami versus UConn. I didn't see a whole lot for either side, and I don't know which side to really trust on stuff. But yeah. .308. Let's write out 308. Okay, so if we write out 308, it sums to 179, the 41st prime number. This game being played on April 1st, written 4/1, like 41. Could be a reason why UConn becomes 30-8 for a season record, like 308. It's a possibility for that. What else? I think that's kind of it, which isn't a whole lot. I think for UConn, it's mostly potential future projection with the 64 and 32. And then, of course, you have the 18-8, which is interesting. Actually, no, it could be an 8 pattern. So UConn can sit on 8 losses for the season with the win, as they sit on 8 all-time head-to-head losses against Miami with the win, as Miami gets their 8th loss for the season to end. Does 8 have anything that we can Cash it too? No. Not necessarily, but there's some 8s there. They get their 8th loss, sit on 8 head-to-head. UConn sits on 8 losses with the win. Yeah, I think that might be it for right now for UConn. Not a whole lot. Another thing, one more thing here, I guess. UConn can sit on 32 tournament losses with the win, and their coach's 158th game as a coach for UConn. 32 written out sums to 158. And like I mentioned in the previous game, the word championship sums to 131, the 32nd prime number. So UConn could head to the championship sitting on 32 tourney losses with the win. Kind of like how I mentioned that San Diego State can have 32 wins heading into the championship, potentially. Same thing could kind of apply to UConn. They can sit on 32 losses with the win all time for a tournament record. Heading into the championship game, championship sums to 131, the 32nd prime. And then you can add in it's their coach's 158th game as a coach for UConn. 32 written out sums to 158. And just kind of go from there. All right, let's switch gears here towards Miami. What would it take for Miami to win this game? Well, as I already stated, the championship game will be a day with 30 date numerology on the Gregorian. Either one of these two teams can get their 30th win for the season to head into the championship game on a day with 30 date numerology. And I actually think whoever wins this game might be the potential winner of the championship. And the reason why I say that is because it will be the 12th day of the 7th month for the Hebrew civil side of the calendar for the championship day. 127 is the 31st prime number. If one of these two teams, whichever one of these two teams goes, they could be setting them up to get their 31st win to win the championship game on the 12th day of the 7th month. 127, the 31st prime number. But if Miami were to go, Miami would become 30-7 for a season record with the win. 30-7 or 307, which is the 63rd prime number. And if Miami becomes 30-7 or 307, the 63rd prime, UConn would sit on 63 tourney wins as a team with a loss. This game will be played on April 1st, written 4/1, like 41, and UConn can fall 17-9 all-time head-to-head against Miami with a loss. 179 is the 41st prime number. This is the Final Four game, and the words Final Four, if you write it out, sums to 102, and it also sums to 51. UConn Huskies sums to 51, and their coach can sit on 102 wins as a coach for UConn with a loss in the Final Four. What else? Yeah, Miami Hurricanes sums to 161. Miami could become 16-11 for a tournament record with the win, which kind of looks like a 161. As UConn coach gets his 161st loss for his career. Miami is the number 5 seed. UConn is the number 4 seed. They could fall on that number for their winning streaks, meaning UConn, the number 4 seed, can end their 4-game winning streak with a loss, whereas Miami, the number 5 seed, can get their 5th win in a row. And so they can fall on that number whichever way they go. And I think that might be it for this game as well. This game's a little bit tougher. Miami versus UConn. The numbers are a little bit tougher here. I mean, Florida Atlantic and San Diego State, they both have some numbers. But they have a little bit more to play with, I guess, than Miami and UConn, since Miami and UConn, their record is very similar as far as picking up their 30th win. And the championship day having 30-day numerology, so it really could go either way for them. But hopefully this helps. Hopefully this gives you insight to both of these games, gives you an idea of what's going on, adds to decode that you already have, get you started on the decode. I really wish you guys the best of luck on your picks for these games. Hopefully you win all the money in the world. I really appreciate you guys watching. I really appreciate the support. And maybe I'll see you guys in the next video.